Good morning, everybody. Well, as you can see, we're not willing to take down our Christmas decorations quite yet. We're going to leave them up for at least a couple of more days, kind of soak in the hope of Advent. What do you think about that? Hey, this week we thought we'd do something kind of special. You know, when I was growing up, I remember the local radio stations always doing like a top 100 songs of the year countdown. And they would count them down and then play the top song, like right at midnight on New Year's Eve. We're going to do something a little bit like that with the Videodevos. These will be the 5 most watched video devos of this past year, and there are some surprises. One of them has no words. Do you remember which one that was? No spoken words, no sung words, not even any texted words on the screen. So you'll have to stay tuned to find out what that is all about. This first one comes from kind of an inspiration I had while unloading groceries in the kitchen. Here is number 5. Hey everybody, welcome to my kitchen. I was just digging into the fridge for a bite to eat when I came across this, my favorite 4 lettuce blend. It's based on kale, but it's got spinach and all kinds of other goodness in there. 4 different kinds of lettuce. And then it occurs to me, there is a 4 lettuce blend in the Bible that can help you and I get through times like this. So let me serve it up to you now, shall I? It's found in Hebrews chapter 10. There are 4 verses in a row where the writer to the Hebrews says, let us. See what I did there? A 4 let us blend. Well, I want to read these verses to you and then explain why I think they can help us deal with the anxiety and the worry and the hopelessness and the helplessness that we're all feeling right now to some degree. I mean, that's understandable because these are uncertain times. But this is going to go on for a little bit, and nobody wants to feel like this all the time. So is there a way to get through this and yet feel the peace of God? Well, there is this 4 let us blend. In Hebrews chapter 10, starting in verse 22, he says, let us draw near to God with a sincere heart and with the full assurance that faith brings, having had our hearts sprinkled to cleanse us from a guilty conscience. So the first let us is let us draw near to God, knowing that our guilty conscience doesn't keep us from God's presence because he has cleansed us. When things are tough around us, look up, let us draw near to God. And then the second let us is in the next verse, verse 23, let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. And in the Bible, when it talks about our hope, it's usually talking about the resurrection and the restoration of heaven and earth so that all things are made new. That is our hope. So let us hold on to that hope unswervingly. The word used there in the Greek for hold on is the same word for holding on to a rope. You ever play tug of war? And the team that holds onto the rope most tightly wins. It's that kind of clinging on to a rope and not letting go. So let us draw near to God. Let us cling to that hope of the resurrection. And then he says in the next verse, verse 24, and let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. So that means let's encourage each other to love one another, to do good deeds for one another during this time when you hear about other people doing something good and loving. Encourage them to do that. Like we've been encouraging you to contact at least 5 people every day just to check up on them. How are you doing? I'm praying for you. Is there anything that we can do? So let us draw near to God. Let us hold on to the hope of the resurrection. Let us encourage one another and spur one another on to good deeds. And then the 4th let us is in verse 25. Let us not give up meeting together. Now, how can we follow that let us in a time of social distancing? Well, the good news is almost all of our classes and groups now are available online. You can check that out at tlc.org/classes. And of course, our services are live streaming every weekend, Saturday at 6 and Sundays at 9 and 10:45. So let us draw near to God. Let us hold unswervingly to hope. Let us spur one another on to love and good deeds. And let us not give up the habit of meeting together. There is a 4 let us blend that can help you survive and thrive through these uncertain times. God bless you.